those vibrations. So that's what we mean by the voice box. This is why you can hear people speak. This is why you can hear animals moo or oink or whatever it is they do. Okay? And then this is on that other page. It got bumped to the other page. You don't really need to focus on that too much, but the Syrinx is the voice box for birds. And it's a little bit different. That's why they make a different sound than humans or other animals. Okay? Moving on. The trachea. The trachea is the primary passageway to the lung for air to move through. So that would be this pipe-looking thing right here. We see that these are two lungs. The trachea sits right in the middle, and that's the primary passageway for air. I would put a star next to that bullet point, primary passageway to the lung. Okay? And then another important aspect about the trachea is the cartilage rings. This picture is hard to see, I know, but the trachea has cartilage inside it. What is cartilage? We talked about it a little bit before. What was that, Jonathan?
Bones, but crappier.
Bones, but crappier. Essentially, yes. Cartilage is like our nose and our ears, that very soft form of bone, okay? Inside of our trachea, we have cartilage rings, and that is to prevent the trachea from collapsing. So if we didn't have them, we would go to bed at night, we would lay down, and then our trachea would just collapse, and then we wouldn't be able to breathe, okay? So the cartilage rings are really important because it's a form of structure. Like in the skeletal system, we know that it's a form of support and frame to the body, right? Okay. Then we have the bronchi. The bronchi are the two main branches that come off of the trachea. That would be this portion right here. They go into the lungs. Those little white, it looks just like the trachea, but they're the portion that's inside the lungs, okay? And then we have the bronchioles. These are the smaller stems of the bronchi. They're the things that branch off and they disperse throughout the two sides of the lungs. So, let's see here. And then the alveoli is our final step. The alveoli, they look like little marbles or balls on the end of the bronchioles. Their main job is the air, the oxygen travels all the way through. It goes through the trachea, then the bronchi, and then the bronchioles. Once the oxygen hits these alveoli, the alveoli go, oh, I need to diffuse this into the bloodstream. You guys know you have oxygen in your blood that runs through your veins? That's how that happens. We breathe it in. It hits these sites in the lungs, the alveoli, and then the alveoli, they just push it out into your bloodstream. Okay? And we're going to talk a little bit more about how this is structured. We're going to build some models here in a second. The last thing is the lungs. I put a star by this for you. You should know that the lungs are the principal organ of the respiratory system, okay? They're what allow us to breathe, essentially. So, we have two of them. They're paired. You already know this. You find them in your rib cage, right? Let's talk about the thorax for a second. So, if you, in your notes section, if you go back to where we color-coded our cow skeleton, we kind of already talked about the thorax once before. So, turn to this page where it says thoracic vertebrae. Do you guys remember talking about the different types of vertebrae? We talked about the thoracic vertebrae once before. The thorax is that section of the skeleton, okay? It's like the rib cage. And this is one way that the systems in our bodies work together. So this part of the skeletal system, the thorax, it can expand, okay? And because the thorax can expand, right here, that section, our lungs are able to expand, right? We need our lungs to be able to expand because we need them to take in a breath and we need them to expel that, right? So that's an example of how the two systems can work together. Okay. Did everyone get a chance to get all those notes down?